Hello everyone, welcome to another live hangout here at Voice Essentials, our last show for 2021. Where did that go? Wow, what a year. It has been a big year in so many respects, and I'm sure it's no different for you. But what a ride we've had. This has been such a really great year here at Voice Essentials, and made so by the fact that every week you all come to the show and hang out with me for 50 minutes or so, and that's what we're going to do again today. But you know, I just want to talk through some things with you. So many of you are really keen and involved in the community here at Voice Essentials, and so I thought I'd go through some things that we've covered this year. Did you know that this year we have done 35 live hangouts? That's 35 shows. I don't know what that is in the big scheme of how many live shows we've done over the years, but it's quite a few. And that has been, even through that. Remember, for those of you who come along to this, quite actively, remember back in sort of April, May, I was having huge technical issues with my computer and and we still kind of managed to navigate through that, and as stressful as that was, maybe not to you, but to me it was. And during those 35 shows, we have had, 13 wonderful guests join us here, and guests of international repute, people who are, so actively engaged in research for voice, in teaching voice, in sort of other areas of the mental game around singing, and so many really cool people that we've had on the show. Can I encourage you that if you've missed any of the live shows this year, in particular those with the live guests, can I encourage you to go back and check those out over the coming couple of months when we won't be hanging out? Go back, have a watch. Each guest we had on this year brought so much information and expertise and just some really wonderful insights. And so I encourage you to have a watch of those over the next couple of months while we go into a little bit of a hiatus here in Brisbane, Australia. And for those of you who don't know, did you know that in 2032, Brisbane, my hometown city, is going to be hosting the Olympics? Yeah, that's the same Brisbane. 2032, we will be having the World Olympics here. So that's where I am. And so we step into being in the Southern Hemisphere here in Australia. We step into our summer break, if you like, and so I will be in a couple of weeks. I'll be taking, dare I say, a well-earned holiday, and I am looking forward to a really good break. It's going to be great, and because I want to come back next year refreshed, ready to go. Our first live show for 2022, we're going to have to get used to saying that, aren't we? 2022 is going to be 2022. I had to check that I was saying that correctly. Is going to be the 7th of Feb, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So put that in your diaries. That is 9 weeks away. It's probably going to go really quickly. But I can tell you, I'm going to miss hanging out with you all, and because it's so good to spend the time with so many of you who are such active, people who participate in the live chat. But we'll be back. We are going to be back in the new year. But of course, over those 9 weeks, every week, you are still going to be able to watch the pre-record videos. You know how we do the live shows on Monday? Well, my Monday. For many of you, it's your Sunday. And then on my Wednesdays at midnight, which is for many of you, your Tuesdays, I release a pre-record video And so there are going to be pre-record videos every week. They're already slated, they're already locked in. And so the way to make sure you don't miss a single one of those over that period of time is to be subscribed, hit the white bell icon, and then you're not going to miss one of those pre-records. You're also not going to miss being reminded that we're starting in the new year. So I want to make sure that you do subscribe and get those notifications sent out by YouTube so that you don't miss a show or the pre-record. There's so many really good things I've got lined up for you over the the December-January period. So I want you to make sure you continue your learning, continue your passion about voice, and we're going to do that. And you know, through to the end of December, I was counting them up, I'll have done 55 pre-records. So that means in the space of 2022, we have done 90, I'm just making sure my math is correct, we've done 90 videos. 90 videos. That's, no wonder I need a break. Wowzers. But in that time, did you know last week, I think I mentioned last Monday, last week we clicked over, I think it happened on the Tuesday afternoon, my time, we clicked over the 200,000 subscribers. 200,000. Now, for those of you, I've got a silver play button back on the back wall there. You get the silver play button when you get to 100,000. As of Tuesday, we doubled that number of people who have really been benefited by what we do here at Voice Essentials, and you know, so many of you contribute to the growth of the channel. And one person, and I know you all know who I'm about to name, one person contributes more than most, and that is Linda Dalton, our wonderful moderator. You know her in the live chat, and she's been on the live show with me a couple of times, I think, from memory. And I've got my other moderators. I can see Karen from SingWise over there. Karen's just done a podcast with John Henney, which you should all go and check out. So Karen's a wonderful moderator, and she jumps in on occasion. Kathy Snyder is another of our moderators, but Linda, and I'm thankful to all of you ladies who moderate the live chat that keeps everything flowing so smoothly. But Linda goes the extra mile for us, and she does it for us. And that is every Tuesday morning, after when I remember to do some things in the back end for YouTube, every Tuesday morning, Linda then re-watches every live show and puts in the time codes for those of you, especially for those of you who watch the show as a replay. Hello to all of you who watch the show as a replay, which is most of you. And I cannot tell you how grateful and thankful I am to her service to us as a community. And I want you in the live chat right now, show your appreciation. Linda it's just so wonderful, Linda. We love you. We think what you do for us is just awesome. And we as a community thank you. You have earned a break over the next 9 weeks, and so you're going to get one. You and I, of course, have got a private lesson which we'll be having do we have it this week, Linda, or next? It's slated. You and I will catch up once more for the remainder of the year. But Linda, we are just a big, 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 big thank you for everything you do here at the show. Do you know, the other thing too that we've done this year is I've implemented a couple of new formats, a couple of new sort of video things, and I hope you're getting a lot out of them. The number one sort of new format that I've been not experimenting with so much as learning to hopefully do better, because it takes a bit of learning, is the specialist sessions. And these are the videos where I'm recording, just grabbing snippets of live lessons with a student and sort of, grabbing a 5-minute, 6-minute grab of a lesson where we're working through something in very particular, and the student asks a really great question and I seek to provide an answer, or we're working on a particular piece of topic. I'm going to be continuing with that format in the new year because I think it's of really high value to us as a community, and to your learning with your voice. It can be really powerful to watch someone else, firstly, either ask the same question that you had, or see them work through the same challenge that you might be having with a particular exercise or a particular technique that you're developing in your voice. And so I'm going to be doing more of those in the coming weeks and months and years, because I think it's a really powerful tool. And what I love about this new format, this specialist session format, is that it is real, and it's authentic, and it's, and so much of, can I say, so much of what is even said to be authentic that we watch online, and I'm thinking of, actually I won't go down that path, but so much of what is said to be authentic has been so doctored, and it's a hyper authenticity. It's not real. And what I really want us here at Voice Essentials, I want us to really lean, and we're going to continue this journey together in the new year. I want us to really lean in on being real. I want us to continue to be authentic together. I want us to continue to explore our real voices and realize the full potential of our real voices. And that's my hope, that's my passion, and I really believe very strongly in that we together can form a community. We've formed a community that is real, that is authentic, and we don't fall for the trap of this hoping that will be something that it can't be, or that it's completely doctored. Anyway, those of you who've been here for long enough, you've heard me rabble on about these sorts of issues before, and we're going to really lean into that. The other thing I'm doing, you won't see this sort of version of video until March next year, I think it is, where I'm also starting to record these live sessions, and there are moments in the live sessions during the Q&A and during when we have our special guests where I go, wow, that was a great segment, and so that might be worthy of a replay, and so I'm editing those. Just again, 4-5 minute sections where you can actually just rework. I'm a great believer in revision being the mother of all learning. When you first learn, you'll have heard these stats before, when you first hear a piece of information, you are likely to only retain around about 7% of that information. But then what happens is, if you get to replay that, relearn that very same piece of information, which you've already learnt, if you get to relearn that, then you are going to retain significantly more than what you did on the first pass. And so what I'm wanting to do is to give you that opportunity to relearn, to replay segments of information so that you can absorb and assimilate that into your learning process. And so I'm hoping that the replay sort of thing can be really helpful. And it does save you having to replay the entire live show. You can just grab little snippets, and they're going to be that far in advance. So for example, the first one that goes live in March next year is from a live show that was done about a month ago. So you get the point, right? I'm not sort of hitting you with it in the week following the live show. It's literally happening months later so that you get to revisit that, and I'm hoping that's going to be really effective for you. Of course, the other pre-record versions that we're continuing with is we're continuing to do the usual big videos that go live at least once a month, and also the pit stops, which are the shorter, often where, a definition of a particular vocal term, or, I think one that's got going live in the new year is, can singers, drink coffee? That's sort of really quick, bite-sized piece of information. Anyway, the new year is looking exciting, and I've already got all of the pre-record videos slated through until the end of August. That might seem a little bit over the top, but the reason for that, and Linda said to me last week or a couple of weeks ago, she said, August, why are you so far ahead? There's a reason, Linda, and that is because I am, as you know, developing the new course that will be going live. I'm aiming for April. The Dr. Dan's Singer's Starting Guide. This is the course that I wish I had when I first started to sing. It is going to go over all of that information that I really wish I had in my kit bag, in my backpack, before I walked out the front of the house. I'm thinking of The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings, where they go on their journey. And so, yeah, this is I'm really excited about this course. I've written all the scripts. I've only got two of the modules. So there's going to be a 5-module course. 2 of the modules, Vocal Anatomy 101 and Voice Care 101. There is so much information in these 2 modules. The other 3 modules, there's going to be a lot of information also. But I was thinking, how do I get so much information to you in such a compact amount of time, so that you're not sitting there for hours on end? Because who has the time to do that? So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to be delivering the videos for Module 2 and Module 3 as a webinar style delivery, so that we can go through. And in fact, I've already done one of the PowerPoint slides up for Module 2. On Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be doing up the Module 3 PowerPoint slides. Honestly, this is, might I humbly say, I think this is going to be a great course. And for those of you, so you might think, okay, is this only for beginners? It is going to be brilliant for people before they take that first step into Voice Essentials 1 online singing course, and really starting there. But it's also going to be fabulous for people who are already in the midst of their journey and want to look at things like anatomy, voice care, vocal warm-ups, pitch, thinking about pitch orientation, how does that work, and what are the other things? We're looking at aesthetic and function, and why is technique so important? I go through all of that. So I'm going to be recording, as I said, all of the prep work. The groundwork is essentially done. When I come back from holidays in mid-January, I'll be doing all the recording, all the video recording, and getting that all together. I've already been talking to my video editors and animators and graphic artists, and it's a big project. And it will be, as I said, I'm aiming to go live with it. You'll be able to access it hopefully from April. Now, for those of you who are engaged with the other online singing courses already, you will know that to date, I have not missed a projected start date. So pencil in April. That's what I'm pitching for. Of course, as you also know, I always do an early bird special for a week in the months leading up to that launch. So today I want to tell you, just so you can start saving your pennies, the early bird special will happen in the first week of March. It is going to be a 50% off special, early bird. So the going price, the recommended retail, is going to be 197 Australian dollars for that course, because there's just so much in it. But for the first week of March, it is going to be on sale for 97 Australian dollars. I will remind you as we get closer, but I just wanted to let you know, prior to Christmas, prior to spending all your money, that is what's going to be happening, and you'll have access to that. Now, the other thing that I need you, and we're going to do a Q&A today, everyone. We are going to get to Q&A, but today's the last show. I'm not going to get an opportunity, for the next 9 weeks to keep you up to speed with everything that's happening. So let me just quickly show you the other thing that you need to be aware of, and that is we only have, can you see down there, we only have 10 hours left on my Black Friday sale for all of the existing courses. That's the 3 singing courses. It's 50% off store-wide. And I just didn't want any of you to miss the opportunity. If you were thinking, oh yeah, I've got to remember to, now remember, Australian Eastern Standard Time. That means that it finishes at the end of month, like at 11:59 my time tonight. So that's only 10 hours, 37 minutes and 29, 28, 27 seconds away. So if you are thinking that you really want to take advantage of that, and I don't do this level of sale normally, and there won't be a Christmas sale, there won't be a New Year's sale that I've premeditated at this stage. Although that could be, no, I'm not going to be doing another sale like this until we do the launch, the early bird launch for Dr. Dan's, but that'll be for Dr. Dan's singing guide, right? For the existing stuff, this is the time to get a massive saving, but only for the next 10 hours. So if you want to get the stuff, you really do need to get a hold of that. Did that make any sense? I don't know. There is a link in the description section below, and if you just click on voiceessentials.com.au, in fact, the same thing that's going across the bottom of the screen now, and just put in Black Friday. Where was that? Hang on. Black Friday. The Black Friday sale. So what have we got? Black Friday 50. If you put in that coupon code, Black Friday 50, for any product, it'll be 50% off. So yeah, take advantage of that if you want to. Wowzers. I think that covers all of the stuff for the end of the year. It's been so big. Oh, okay, we've got a good half hour to get some good question and answer done. So if you've got the questions, hopefully I've got the answers, and I'll provide them for you straight after this. Okay. So let's give Mackenzie Kate. Now Mackenzie is such an active member of the community. Mackenzie, I think having you around is always brings a smile to my dial. So thank you for being a part of the community. I see some others here that are always part of the show too. Wicco, and I can see my good friend Kelly's there. It's so good to have so many of you hanging out so regularly, and that's what makes this a community. This is not just, a few randoms. We've been doing this a long time, haven't we, everyone? So it's so good to have you. Okay, so Mackenzie, you get the first question. Well, do you want, Mackenzie, maybe I'll give you no, I'm going to give you the first question for the last show of 2021. I have a niece who loves to sing. What age would you recommend that she starts voice lessons? So I teach 16 years and above. That could be misinterpreted as me suggesting that you can only start learning to sing from the age of 16 and above. That is not the case. You can start learning to sing, and that really comes down to that statement of learning to sing. What is learning to sing? Learning to sing takes on many different forms. This singing thing is a multifaceted activity. And my approach is very adult orientated. And therefore, I only teach 16 years and above. But I've got some colleagues who teach, right back into the really early primary school years. In Australia, that means that, basically anything from 6, 7, 8 years of age, they're engaging these young singers in a process that is really wonderful. And what I love about often that approach is very fun, very joy-filled. It's not to say that what I do is not joy-filled, but it's very play-orientated often, and it's designed for young learners. You don't teach a high school student the same way you teach a primary school student. Is not the same way you teach an adult learner in university. Our learning evolves, our capacity and the way we learn evolves as we go through those different life stages. And so it's a matter of, I've got something in front of my face there, it's a matter of identifying a teacher that is going to be best suited to the young learner. And so it's not a matter of saying what's the best age to start. There is no best age. That you start when you start. And I've had people into my studio who have started singing in their 60s. They had no previous experience of singing up until they started their lessons, or they started with the choir, and that's when that is a great time to start. The great shame about that is simply that they didn't start earlier, because they often are getting so much joy out of it. And so it's a matter of just identifying the right teacher who's going to employ the right type of techniques for that age group. And I've got a particular colleague who I send a lot of my inquiries when I get because I get a lot of inquiries for singers who, mums who are singing, will you teach my 6-year-old? No, but I know someone who will. And I often direct them to my friend. And she's just joyous in her delivery of learning to sing for that age group. So there you go, Mackenzie. Question done. Xavier, can I just have some water? Is that allowed? Do you know, I had for lunch, this is a really unusual lunch for me, but I had Vegemite toast today for lunch. I could count, in fact, I don't think I can remember the last time I had toast for lunch. But anyway, that's what I had. Leave me comments in the section, leave me some comments in the chat, everyone. Have you ever had Vegemite? Now, my Aussie students will have had Vegemite. Linda knows what Vegemite is. But for non-Aussies, Vegemite tends to be something that is really hard to palate. So let me know if Mackenzie hasn't tried Vegemite. Dinny's never heard of Vegemite. Oh, Dinny, you have got to go and find yourself some Vegemite. Oh, dear. Anyway, that's what I had for lunch. Potent. Oh, hello, Scuba Girls of Georgia. It's so good to see you in the chat. Yeah, it is potent, but I love it. It's really good with a really unhealthy helping of butter. Anyway, back to it. Well, we've got it. I'm going to go to Xavier first, Linda, and then I'm going to come back to Kelly's super chat. I've seen your super chat, Kelly, which I'm always thankful for, Kelly. Let me do Xavier first, then I'll come to Kelly's super chat. I stand with good posture and breath straight into the belly, but I always find I run out of breath faster than I should. What are some tips? Developing breath management is all about being able to manage not only the outflow, but also the inflow, being able to take a quick release breath. And so it's a matter of learning to manage through the obliques, the transverse abdominis, the rectus abdominis, being able to manage that outflow. Now, I've got a range of exercises. There's a video, one of my videos that you can go and check out. It's like a 28-day challenge. Really encourage you to go and have a look at that. And it will literally talk you through that process. Now, Kelly, who has asked our super chat today, she's a private student of mine, and she can tell you that it's been quite the journey in being able to establish breath management. And look, there are people that online will tell you, you know, don't worry about your breathing, it comes naturally, yada yada. I respectfully disagree. I am yet to meet a singer whose body naturally does everything, you know, in an ultimate sort of efficiency. These are skills that we need to develop, and it takes time and it needs to be systematic. And I encourage you to go jump onto my channel. There's a quite a lengthy video that will go through all of that for you. Kelly, super chat, thank you, Kelly. If my voice is sounding flat when I sing low, is it a sign I'm tired or strained, or trying to sing too low for my voice? Maybe I need more practice at it. Firstly, it could be all of the above. It could be you need more practice. It could be that it's a sign of you being tired or strained. It could be that you are actually attempting to sing anatomically too low. Interestingly, it's something I would be looking to address from a breath flow point of view, and seeing if there needs to be a refined development of your, you know, the way your air is moving through the larynx when the voice gets low. Often when we sing low, there's a temptation to want to really impose on the larynx, and we get this, you know, fee, fi, oh, where the larynx gets pushed down. But in doing so, actually, there tends to be a rather high level of intrinsic tension and constriction, which then can really interrupt that breath flow and our ability to consistently, you know, hit the right note. And often when people are trying to sing low, they'll because they're trying to sing perhaps often, you know, sometimes it's too low, they'll sit sharp, so they'll not quite get down to the note that they're looking to. So yeah, I mean, Kelly, we've got a couple more lessons this year, and maybe we can look at that together in our private session. So remind me on Friday when we hang out, and we'll maybe look at that together. Question 3 from Corey. We've got some little comments down here, which is some nice. I'll read Wicco's comment. Thank you so much for all the videos and live streams. It means a lot to a lot of singers. Thank you, Wicco. I'm so pleased that this year you've got a lot out of it. And you know, I started doing these videos. Actually, my first couple of videos, which are still, you can still go and search for them if you're so keen, because it's over 600 videos that I've done now on the channel. But one of the first 2 videos that I did, I was so proud of them, like really proud that I'd done these. I used a really cheap webcam. And the funny thing is, I actually borrowed some massive lights. Now, if you look here, let me show you something. So can you see this light here? So when I'm looking at the screen here, I've actually got 2 lights, 2 front sort of lights here that you can see, and so they're designed to be for streaming, right? I don't use them for my pre-record videos, but the lights that I borrowed, and I did it here in the studio. I laugh at myself now when I look back. I had no. There's still so much I don't know about doing this video thing, but I've learned a lot over the last 6 or 7 years. The first 2 videos I ever did, these lights, and there were, I think there was 6 of them, or it might have just been 4. But anyway, these were massive studio lights, like that should be hung in a TV studio. and I had them set up here in the studio, and they were like blasting me with light. To the point where I think if you go back and watch the videos, you could probably see me squinting because they were just, I mean, it was, anyway, I'm just having a good laugh at myself because it was quite, I had no idea what I was doing. And, but I was so proud of what it was. How did I get into that? I have no idea. Anyway, Wicco was saying thanks for all that. Yeah, you're welcome, Wicco. I was going to say, that's what I was saying. Oh dear, I must be tired. When I first started doing these, I really was just doing them as sort of a little sort of additional value kind of for my private singing students. I had no desire to have 20 subscribers, let alone 200,000. And my wife at the time said, "Oh, you're going to be a YouTuber?" And I said, "I'm not going to be I have no desire to be a YouTuber." And in one sense, I still don't have a desire to be a YouTuber. I'm a singing voice specialist. That is my profession. That is my passion. It just so happens that I can bring to you and deliver, an education of what I do in my private studio here online. So Wicco, I'm so pleased that you get so much out of it. Okay, let's go to It's Corey. I'm new, been watching your videos on YouTube. How do I know my voice range? I'm so confused. And can you please give me some examples of low voices, because I believe I'm in the middle. If you're in the middle, Corey, and I don't know your gender, so I can't tell you whether. So the middle voice for male is baritone. Roughly speaking, these are generalized, classifications, and for female, it's mezzo soprano. So not soprano, mezzo soprano, and often just referred to as mezzo. And they tend to be the middle ground, sort of middle space. Knowing your voice range, look, it has its place. I think we all, to one level or another, want to know who we are, why we are, what we are, and as singers, we often want to apply a label of classification to ourselves. Now that can sometimes be necessary for things like choirs, ensembles, if you're auditioning for a music theatre show, but for a lot of other contemporary vocals, where you're either the soloist or you're going to be a part of a duo in a band or what have you, the voice type becomes less and less of a necessity to know, and so it's simply then what we do is we go, okay, it doesn't really matter about fitting your voice into a box and saying you are, that's what you are. It's more about you identifying what is your voice. Outside of a label, where are your anatomical limits? And most singers have not realized their own anatomical limit. They don't know where those things are. The only way we find those anatomical limits is through the development of technique and the exploration of the voice, vocal range, by virtue of foundational issues such as breath management, tension management, all of those things. And so often it's really important, it's Corey, to go on that journey. Now it's the long journey. I was saying to a new student who's just started with me this morning, this is the long road. Here at Voice Essentials, part of that authenticity I was talking about, earlier in the show today, comes from me being truthful and honest with you and saying this takes time. Do I wish I had a magic wand where I could just wave it every time we get together and say, do steps 1, 2, 3. There is no step 4 because after step 3 you'll have Beyonce's voice. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes, it would. That's not reality. That is fantasy. It's a nice fantasy, but it is a fantasy nonetheless. And so you have to be prepared to travel that developmental journey. So many people want to circumnavigate the journey, but the journey has way too much to teach you. Yeah, and it's about you maturing not only as a technically developed singer, but as an artist. And there is so much richness that comes into our art when we have paid the cost. When there's something about, I often see, young performers and you go, wow, there's a real depth there. And when I then go back and maybe look into their backstory of, often they've spent so much time, not just writing songs, but in the development of their craft, whether it be around their instrument, their piano or their guitar, more often also their voice. They've got this history that sits underneath. It's a bit like the iceberg. What I'm seeing is only that little bit of a tip, but underneath there's so much more. You don't want to be top heavy as a singer. You don't want to be all show and no substance. What I'm looking for us to develop here at Voice Essentials is all substance so that we can then, be all show also. So that's the road we're on. And Corey, that's the road I'd encourage you to take. Dinny's throwing in another lovely comment here. You're super awesome. Well, that's kind, Dinny. Stuff you do for singers is meaningful, a great resource for the scene. Success for your career, Doctor. Thank you so much. My success is wrapped up in your success. That's what this is all about, is I want to see you succeed in the development and the shaping of your voice. And we're going to continue to do this in 2022. I know 9 weeks is a long period. It's a long break, but it's a necessary one. It's necessary for Linda as much as it is for me. And so I'm really looking forward to a break, but we're going to be back here in the new year, and that's going to be great. Guess what, Bradley Munro, you get to be the last question that I will answer after I have some water, because that tickle from the Vegemite toast is still there. Bradley, last question. We're going to answer it. Here it comes. Any advice for singers when they perform Christmas caroling gigs? I had not read that question before I said you would be the last one. I just simply looked down at the clock and went, oh, we better finish up. Christmas caroling. One of the challenges for those who do Christmas caroling is often it's quite a big vocal load. You don't think of Christmas caroling as being a really big load, but any vocal load is big when it is relative to what you normally do. So a lot of singers, when they start to do caroling, they do very little sort of vocal performance in the year prior, and then suddenly they're hitting the voice with an hour of singing every night, or sometimes multiple hours. And so that is like going from zero to hero in a matter of hours, and that can be really taxing on the voice. And so my great advice to you is, don't leave it simply to a simple little warm-up before you start, or a couple of little tongue trills. Start developing some vocal fitness now. I mean, if you're going to start caroling next week, it's never too late. Let's not say it's too late, but we're kind of leaving our run late to start this. I would have loved to have seen you start developing a heightened level of fitness to the task probably back in October, because we need, you know, a 4 to 6 week period to really start ramping up the voice to carry this additional load over December. I don't want to see you get into January and have a voice that's just like, you know, completely done. So some thoughts for you there. Really make sure that you are building the fitness, getting the voice ready. Before every time you do the caroling, you must warm up. And you can use the warm-up videos that I've got here on the channel. Even if it's only the 5-minute warm-up, that's going to be better than nothing. I'd prefer to see you do the 10-minute, which is actually a 9-minute warm-up. Do those, and there's a male and a female, a low voice and a high voice version. Check those out. Use those religiously before you go into the caroling. And then I really encourage you to do the cool downs afterwards. That's going to prep your voice ready for the next one, which is often in caroling the next day. So do that. That's going to be really helpful. That's Bradley. That's what I would really highly recommend. Now, to finish off, what I'd also recommend, and we've only got 10 hours and 12 minutes left, is if you haven't already, I really want to encourage you to enroll in one of my online courses. If nothing else, it'll keep you busy over the winter months of December, January. No, seriously, even if you're thinking, well, I can't start this until the new year, I really want, these are not time limited. You can enroll, you can shelve them, but you're going to get, you know, if you enroll now, you're going to get them at a super cheap price. And so make sure you take advantage of that in the next 10 hours, because I am not extending this sale. This is going to close in 10 hours, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a wrap. What a great year. What a great year. And it really does come down to so many of you and you coming in here every week, joining with me. I'm so thankful to you as a community. Can I just let you know, I will continue on occasion to interact in the Facebook community group. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Voice Essentials community Facebook group. You just got to look it up in Facebook, and it is literally Voice Essentials community Facebook group. Go and check that out. You can be a part of that. You do have to accept the admin rules. We do have some group rules where it's just common sense stuff, you know, where we're pleasant and good to each other. But anyway, you can read those and then simple acceptance, and then you can be a part of the group. So you'll continue to see me, you know, dip in and out of that group over the December-January period, as I'm sure you'll continue to see Linda and other people, and Karen from SingWise, she's often there. So everyone, I wish you a really safe and happy new year. I know we've got new coronavirus variants, and who knows what's going to happen with that, but I just want you to have a really safe, a really restful festive season. And many of us here at Voice Essentials are from a diverse range of backgrounds, religiously and non-religiously, and so I just will simply say that I hope you have a blessed period of time, and I am really looking forward to hanging out with you all again when we get together in 2022 on the 7th of Feb. Don't forget that. In fact, the best way to be reminded is to subscribe and hit the white bell icon, and that way YouTube is going to let you know when we're back. But of course, you'll be able to watch the pre-record videos every week for the next 9 weeks. Have a great rest of the year. I'll catch you soon. And as I say at the end of every show, I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.